The Turkish army is steadily increasing its presence along this stretch of the Syrian border. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been threatening to attack the Kurdish-run area of Afrin for almost a week now. There has been sporadic shelling. Inside Afrin, thousands marched on Thursday in protest at Turkey's aggression.
The goal of this large demonstration is to send a message to the world, and especially to Turkey, concerning the Turkish threats. We will not be afraid.
We came here to protest against the attacks on Afrin. We will stand by Afrin and our troops, the YPG.
Afrin is one of 3 autonomous Kurdish enclaves controlled by the Syrian Kurdish PYD party and its armed wing, the YPG. Turkey sees the YPG as an offshoot of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, which it, together with the US and Europe, consider a terrorist organization. But the YPG has been working with the US to push ISIL out of Syria, not in Afrin, but further east of the Euphrates River. The Americans have never had a presence in Afrin, but the Russians do. And Afrin has been relatively peaceful throughout this war, and it hosts tens of thousands of internally displaced Syrians.
Even though, Afrin has been there for quite a long time, it has never posed a serious security threat for Turkey. But Erdogan probably needs this kind of nationalistic, rhetoric, and potentially use his military in order to be able to gain more votes, especially with the upcoming elections in Turkey. So I think the domestic factor cannot be set aside when it comes to the potential incursion into Afrin.
Tensions have been stoked further in recent days by the US announcement of a so-called border force, which will be based east of the Euphrates along the border with Turkey and Iraq, and the YPG will form its backbone.
The United States, a NATO ally, supports a terrorist organization that threatens Turkey. Can this be acceptable? It is unacceptable and inexplicable.
But US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says it's not a border force. The US role has been misportrayed and Turkey is owed an explanation. He says the build-up is aimed at countering the resurgence of ISIL, will be internally focused, and is important for the stability of Syria. However, that's not what others involved in Syria's war think. Ankara, Tehran, Moscow and Damascus have all voiced their opposition to the force. Once again, it highlights the complicated nature of Syria's war. ISIL's been pushed out of most of the territory that it once held, and so the battlefield is becoming perhaps even more complicated, with each side trying to carve out its sphere of influence. And it seems the Syrians are the ones that hold the least sway of all. Stefanie, Dekker, Al Jazeera, Antakya.